Hey everyone, it's attorney Matthew Legan Sanchez here. Today, let's find out, can I get divorced without going to court? So yes, absolutely, you can get divorced without going to court, but you're going to need a complete agreement. You're going to need a complete marital settlement agreement, and that deals with your assets and debt. So you're going to need a 100% agreement on all asset and debt issues. This includes alimony and bank accounts and cars or retirement account. Any asset that you accumulated during the marriage is usually community property. So you're going to need a complete agreement on any assets in order to not have to go to court. Now, do you have disagreements? Are you disagreeing on an issue like alimony or retirement accounts? Are you disagreeing on a tax issue? Are you disagreeing on anything that is community property? So any issue that you have, any disagreement, leads to a contested divorce, and you're going to have to go through the courts potentially. You can resolve it through settlement facilitation, where a mediator will help you guide you towards a resolution. A mediator is skilled and trained, usually has a lot of experience with family law, with litigation, and knows how to resolve these issues. And if you can reach a resolution through mediation, then you won't have to go to court. But otherwise, yeah, you're gonna have to go to court. You're gonna have to go through the court system. If you can't agree on how your assets and your debts are gonna be split, then your judge is gonna have to decide. And you're putting your case into your judge's hands for better or worse. Your judge may divide your property in a way that you don't like, and every time that you take the case out of your hands, you put it into someone else's hands, and you may not like what you get. So there are some common asset and debt issues that lead to contested divorce. The biggest one's probably alimony. Alimony is one of those words, most people don't like to hear alimony. It's not something that settles well, especially if the reason for the divorce is from one party, maybe they were cheating or there were other issues, and then you face alimony. That's a bitter pill to swallow. It's very difficult. So alimony is one of those touchy issues a lot of times. It's a word that people don't want to hear, and it can really cause some emotional issues that lead to the divorce getting stalled and towards disagreement. Another common issue is tax issues. If one person was accumulating tax issues during the marriage and the other party didn't know about it, they may be very reluctant to want to have to be straddled with half of that tax issue. So that's something that can also lead to a contested divorce. Child support is an issue. Child support issues can lead to contested divorce. One party may think, oh no, I don't need to pay child support. And the other party, of course, if they're entitled to child support, they want what they're court ordered entitled to. So that can usually lead to some disagreements and to a breakdown that leads to you having to go to court. Are children involved with your marriage? If so, then you're going to need a parenting plan. And your parenting plan is going to deal with custody, it's going to deal with visitation, and it's going to deal with child support. Regarding custody, the presumption in New Mexico is that children are best served by joint legal custody. And this means both parents have the ability to make decisions on behalf of the children regarding school, religion, extracurricular, elements of that nature. Both parents are going to be able usually to make decisions on behalf of the children. So if one parent is saying, no, I want sole legal custody, I want to be able to call all the shots, usually the court's not going to allow that to happen. That usually is going to lead to a contested divorce, and the parties are going to have to go to court, and the judge is ultimately going to make a decision. And the presumption is that joint legal custody is in the children's best interest. Regarding visitation, visitation is always based on the child's best interest. And the time that you've done since separation can heavily influence what the court is going to do regarding visitation. So it's very important from the date of separation to establish the visitation that you want to take place. Finally, we have child support. Child support, very clear cut. It's by statute, by law. It looks at the time you have with the children. It looks at your gross income and other expenses such as extracurricular expenses, sometimes daycare expenses if they're work related. Those can get factored in the child support calculator. You plug in the numbers, it spits out an amount, and that is by statute. It's something that the court will just rubber stamp, they'll enforce that. So if you're fighting over child support, it's something that probably the court is going to look at and say, this is what it is, and that's your child support amount. So that certainly can lead to going to court. You may be wondering, can I file for divorce without an attorney? Absolutely, you totally can file without an attorney. You can complete the documents, you can go to the self-help division, and there's usually a pretty big stack of documents. You look through those, you can fill them out. Now, you can do that on your own. And like I could also change my carburetor on my own. I could change my transmission on my own. But then you get to the, is it worth it? Is it worth doing something that there could create problems and it could have some future consequences? I don't know. That's something you're going to have to ask yourself and see. Do you want to do this on your own? Do you want to have an issue where possibly you check a little box and it says alimony, no alimony, and that can impact the rest of your life? At a minimum, you should at least speak to an experienced attorney. You should talk with an attorney. You should see what New Mexico law is. Don't let your ex guilt you into a bad agreement. Don't feel rushed. Don't get a bad agreement that could haunt you for the rest of your life because you wanted it to be quick. So can you do it on your own? Absolutely. Should you do it on your own? That's a different story. You should definitely speak to an attorney at a minimum. Do you still have questions whether you can get divorced without going to court? If so, call me, Attorney Matthew Ligon Sanchez. Call me at 505 Sanchez. I'll listen to your unique facts. We'll get to the bottom of your case and we'll see what we can do.